Hello. This is a tutorial on how to do the Metropolis Act 3 boss fight in one cycle in Sonic 2. It should look something like this. So what this allows you to do is keep Robotnik from flying above the boss arena, which doesn't allow you to initiate another hit until you destroy one of his balls. So normally the fight, how it would go about is you have to pop one of these balls every time before you're able to get another hit on him. But this is obviously too slow, so this setup requires you to manipulate Tails and have very precise positioning and proper damage boosting to able to rack up the hits while keeping him from flying above. So that's what I'll teach you right now. So before I even tell you how to fight this boss fight properly, I have to show what you don't have control over, no matter how good you are at this. So this boss fight requires you to damage boost and grab a ring every time you take damage. But there is a slight chance that while you're doing this setup, the ring can go right through Sonic and then thus dying from it. Or the ring can just fall straight through the ground and you're not able to do the damage, just like there. That's just the game telling you that you should go fuck yourself, so there's not much I can do to help with that regard, but when things align and that doesn't happen, then this is a very consistent setup. I just want to get that out there just because that is very important, because there is the inconsistencies of the rings not being able to be acquired. So this is more helpful for the glitches run. The glitch run does an alternative boss fight, which is much faster. But this is very helpful for people who are doing the glitchless run. So this is the very end of the level for Metropolis 3, which will require you to run up to this platform, and it takes you to the boss fight. And you go right over here. But you don't want to do that. So what you want to do instead is run up, Tails is with you, and you're going to intentionally make him fall to his death. And that will allow you to enter this boss fight while you have Tails coming back in a respawn state. So Tails is not able to land until he touches the ground himself. So I'll be jumping up and down, and he never will respawn until he lands fully, like so. So this is good because what you actually want to do is set yourself up in a position where Tails is spin dashing in the opposite way as Sonic is, just like so. So Sonic is spin dashing to the left, and Tails is spin dashing to the right. The positioning isn't very strict. If you are too close to him, you will risk getting hit as soon as Robotnik comes too close to the ground. But if you're too far, that will allow him to not get the hit properly, initiating the setup. So you can stand roughly around here. I'm gonna have a little visual here. So if you can see my cursor here, if you can get Sonic to stand roughly around this range right here, that's a very good straight line. I'll tell you what. This is a very helpful spot to visualize where to stand here. The closer you are, the earlier you have to... I'm sorry, the closer you are, the later you release the spin dash, and the further you are, the earlier you have the release, just based on the timing you have to hit Robotnik here. So how this fight is going to work is when you're initiating a hit, you have to hit him roughly around where the ball will pop. So in this position right here, I choose this position here, roughly around this line right here. I'm going to pause for a second just to show it. You can see my cursor. I'm roughly lining up Sonic on this line right here that I'm circling. That is a circle behind you. And then I'm going to stay put and do a one tap and hold it down. Tails will drop and respawn, and he won't spin dash because I did the input for spin dash before he landed, so he can't copy that once he's grounded. And because of this, I can move him around, and he is not going to spin dash. He'll roll around and walk around, but he won't initiate the spin dash at all. So that's what's gonna do is allow me to have full control over him while he's in that free state, because I'm in a ball position. So what I'm gonna do instead is, once I have Sonic in position, I'm going to go from down. If you can see my input display from below, I'm gonna go from down to down right really quickly. That'll turn him around. I'm gonna pause here. You see he'll turn around. Now he's crouching the other way. And if I one tap spin dash again, you'll see him in a spin dash state. So now I successfully pulled off the turnaround perfectly. And that will be the beginning of the setup. So you want Tails in the opposite direction, because this is going to help have Sonic and Tails' damage states in different parts of their sequence. So what's going to happen is, if I set this up, I'll get hit, Tails will spin dash to the right, and then Tails will get hit like a half second later. And that's going to have them in different damage states, which will allow Sonic to get a hit while Tails gets damaged, and then Tails get a hit, and then Sonic gets damaged, and they'll go back and forth to be able to puppet each other to get all the hits. So now I got that out of the way. So what you want to do is, when Robotnik is descending down, you want to look at the flame here. So I'm going to highlight the flame right here. This flame right here, it gradually goes down, and my visual cue is looking at these lines in this pole right here. I'm gonna like have this cursor show this pole I'm looking at, and you can see these individual lines like right here, and there's a line down here. So I would keep revving up my spin dash. So I'm just mashing my spin dash here, waiting for the visual cue until the flame bypasses this line right here, but just before it bypasses this line right here. I'm gonna highlight these two lines right here. So if I can release my spin dash roughly around this point here, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna hit Robotnik, but he doesn't fly up. So if I try to pause here, you'll see that I pop one of the balls just as soon as I hit him, and that keeps him from going up, because now there isn't a ball floating around. So he's gonna keep grounded until I hit him again. And that's what we want to do for the remainder of the 7 hits. So that's what you want. So that's hit 1. Things get really complicated afterwards. So now, after you get hit 1, you're going to be sent back from a damage state. And then now Tails is going to start approaching. And he's going to promptly just get hit himself. So now he's set up for hit 3. We're not in hit 3 yet, but we'll get there. So as soon as you get hit, what you want to do is jump at it immediately after your damage state, doing a neutral jump. This jump has to be roughly 5 to 6 frames. You don't want a short jump, and nor you don't want a high jump. You want to hit him at a very precise point at a precise time. This allows you to get a ball pop just right below him in this spot here. This takes a bit of practice to get the timing for this jump and the height as well, but this is what you want. So you'll get hit 2 and you'll still keep him grounded. And now hit 3, you're gonna want Tails to get this hit. So Tails is like awkwardly in a damage state, so he's not getting hit for a while. So that'll give you an opportune time to make him jump here. After you do hit 1 and do the full jump, or the 5 frame jump, whatever, after you bounce off him and then you're descending off of that recoil, if you full jump and if it's just right, Tails will be able to get the hit as soon as he lands. Now, if you're unlucky, there's a chance during this fight that Tails can jump on his own without your control. That's another thing that can happen. That is something that can't be controlled once the fight has initiated. Is that if Tails decides to jump without any control of your own, then that botches up the whole setup and you can't really do it. So, but if it doesn't happen, if you full jump And preferably after you full jump, you just tap left a tiny bit just to drift Tails to the front of the ship when Robotnik turns. That will get you set up for hit 3. So Sonic takes damage because his iframes has ended, but Tails is able to get the hit during his iframes. So he'll get hit 3 and Sonic will be in the air from a damage state. So now you're in damage state, and now you're gonna start going for hit 4, and you're gonna roughly try to pop this bubble right here, this bubble that just hit Tails right here. So I would time this hit, so I'm staring at this green orb here, right? This green little gem, and I'm trying to line it up with this beam right here. There's a beam, this thick beam right here. I'll wait until the beam is roughly centered to this beam. If I time a jump, that would pop a balloon and that would not make him rise. I get the hit and I pop at the same time. So I'll take a good visual of the green and the pipe and make Sonic walk towards it and get a hit just like so. So you can see I'm getting hit 4 and Sonic gets the hit and keeps Robotnik grounded, and then you see that Tails gets damaged here. So Tails is gonna help us get hit 5. So hit 5 is pretty tricky to do. There's 2 ways you can go about it. After you get hit 4, what you could do is after you get hit 4, you will immediately drift to the left. So I'm walking left, right? And as soon as Sonic is roughly leveled with this little grating beam right here, right there, I would immediately turn around and roll towards him. I would get hit, but then Tails' roll gets the hit for me. And that keeps him grounded after hit 5. So I'll do that again. Hit 4, drift to the left afterwards, and then roll for hit 5. That's one way to do it. Of course, if you do it too late, then it would be like you would either get hit without getting Tails to roll, or you will just roll at him without popping the ball at the same time. So something like that. But there is another way to do this. I'm gonna erase this right here. So after hit 4, you want to position Sonic roughly right here. So there's this line right here I look at. You see how there's a gap, like a big wide gap here, as I highlight right there. And then there is a line right here, right here, right here. So I line up Sonic on the second line here, if you can see. So I'm gonna erase this one right here because we're not using it. So I line up Sonic roughly around this line here, and I wait until this green emerald piece, whatever, gets lined up on the very next line on the ground. So this one that I lined up just earlier, once it's decently parallel from this line, I would jump out of this pause of holding right. That's gonna cause me to jump. I'm going to get hit. So Sonic was able to get the hit. Well, I'm sorry, Tails was able to get the hit because of my jump. But Sonic does get hit from this. So that allows you to get hit 5 there. So I'll do it one more time. Get hit 4, wait, jump, and then Tails get the hit there. I'll do it once more for good measure. There you go. So after you do all that, now you have hit 6, 7, and 8, and thankfully this is a very lenient hit 6 here. So after you get hit 5, you want Sonic to stand roughly, erase this again, around, you see this black background here, right here, this long one right here. You want Sonic to be standing roughly on the left-hand side of this. And that's gonna position you perfectly where, I'll erase this again, where this ball, right here, this next one is going to explode. once that ball goes bottom left of Robotnik's sprite, so just like so, see how it's completely like right on Sonic right now? If you jump here, it will pop it as soon as you jump. And it hits 7 and 8, you don't have to worry about positioning or any kind of precise inputs after this, because now 7 and 8, you can just get the hits just as soon as he's rising up, because you have enough iframes to survive the remainder of the attack. So 6, 7, 8. You just hit him as soon as his iframes run out, and you can catch him after hit 7. 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna try to go through this all again. Line up the flame, jump during dissension. Mistime that there, that's fine. Medium jump, full jump during dissension. Emerald, roll. Mistime that, that's fine. There's a lot of visual cues you're like staring at to initiate all the hits perfectly. So it doesn't take a lot of practice. 6, 7, 8. There we go. Medium jump, full jump. Now you see how the ring just goes right through me. Genuinely nothing I can do about that. You see how it does it again. Exciting stuff. And again, yeah. And the ring fall through the floor. See? Isn't that fun? Oh, that's exciting. I like this. That's great. Oh yeah, that's great. Alright, let's go all the way back. Maybe that's a really bad stay or something. Set up. Six, 7, 8. Okay, one more try for good measure. No. Okay, one more try for good measure. There we go. This fight's ass, but when it works out, it's nice. And when the game doesn't mess with you as well. So yeah, I hope that helps to a good extent. But yeah, thank you for watching.